Hello again, 8th grade students. This video is a continuation of lesson 1 in module number 2. So we're talking about proportional relationships. We saw in the previous video just kind of a review of how to solve proportions and the concept of ratios, a certain number of female students to total number of enrolled students. And they gave us different ratios in the getting started on page 8, M2 8 of your book. So this is on page M2 9 of your book. So module 2, page 9 of your book, activity 1.1. We're going to use all that stuff in the previous video to actually complete activity 1.1. So we're going to start off determining the number of enrolled female students for each given total number of enrolled students. So A, B, and C, we are following these same set of directions. Determine the number of enrolled female students for the total number that they give us. So part A, they're saying there are 15 total students. We want to know how many female students are there. Now, keep in mind that the number of enrolled female students from the previous page was 3 to 5. So this is the ratio of female to total. If there are 15 total, what we need to do is create equivalent ratios with, so 3 female to 5 total students. We know there are 15 total students. We need to figure out this number right here. So that means we have a proportion. And we learned in our warm-up in the previous video to solve a proportion, we cross multiply. So 5 times x is 5x. 3 times 15 is 45. And then I would solve this equation by dividing both sides by 5. And I would find that there are 9 female students if there were a total of 15 students. 9 of them would be female. Part B, 250 total students now. So our proportion is not going to change on this side because the 3 to 5, or the 3/5, is the number of female to the total number of students. That is going to equal, down here it's going to change to 250 now over some variable. So now when we go to solve this, we would do cross products again. 5 times x is 5x. That's equal to our other cross product, which is 3 times 250, 750. And then we would divide both sides by 5 to solve the equation. 750 divided by 5 would be 150. So there'd be 150 female students in this situation. Why don't you pause the video and try doing part C on your own. So create the proportion, go ahead and get the equation and solve it all the way through and determine the number of female students enrolled if there are 4,000 total. Welcome back. Hopefully you had this proportion. So that's the proportion that would allow us to determine the number of enrolled female students. So we'd cross multiply 5x. 3 times 4,000 would be 12,000. And when we divide by 5 on both sides, we get 2,400 female students. Now for number 2, compare the total number of enrolled students to the number of enrolled male students. So now we're talking about male students. So remember that the ratio of number of male students, there was 2 out of every 5. They've kind of flipped it around on us here. It says number of enrolled students to the number of male students. So they're really talking about this ratio from the previous, from the getting started that we had in the previous video. So we're really using that ratio 5/2. This would be the 5 is the total number of students. The 2 represents the number of male students. So we're going to work on completing this table for all these different instances here. So if we have total students enrolled in a university is 0, then obviously there are 0 male students enrolled in that university as well. If there's 250 total, well, we have some work to do to figure out the number of male students. So that's where this ratio is going to help us. So if there are 250 total, and we know that it follows this ratio of 5/2. So this is total over the number of male students. 250 is the total. To determine the number of male students in this situation, we'd have to put our variable down in the denominator there. Then we could cross multiply and determine how many male students in this situation. So I'm going to cross multiply. X times 5 is 5x. 250 times 2 would be 500. And then to solve for x, I'd divide by 5 on both sides. And I would find that there are 100 male students enrolled in the university if there were 250 total. Go ahead and try to figure out the number of male students if there are 6,000 total on your own. Pause the video, try it on your own. Welcome back. So basically use the same proportion as you did here. We know the total number of students is 6,000, so replace the 250 with 6,000 over x. X represents the number of male students. And we know that it's in this ratio, or it follows this ratio of 5/2. So when we cross multiply, we'd get 5x. 6,000 times 2 is 12,000. Divide by 5. And we would find that it's 2,400 or 2,400 male students enrolled in the university. The last problem in this table tells us there's 6,000 male students. So that's going to change our proportion just a little bit here. Originally, in both of those first two, we were given the total number of students. This time, we're given the number of male students, and they want to know the total. So this was total over the number of males, total over the number of males. So I'm still going to use the same ratio. I'm still following this same ratio. Total number of students, 2 of those are males. Okay, 2 out of every 5. If they give me that there are 6,000 males, that needs to go on the denominator down here because this is number of males in the denominator of the other fraction. So my variable is actually going to go right here. And now I can do my cross products. 5 times 6,000 is going to be 30,000. Divide by 2. And when I solve it, I get that there are 15,000 students total if there are 6,000 male students. Now, number 3, and part B, we used a proportion to solve and to calculate each value. So you can jot that down. Proportions are very, very useful. We're going to use them several different ways. And we're going to finish this video by answering number 3 here. Determine the number of female students if 800 enrolled students are male. So here's the ratio we're looking at. Female to male. If you look back at what you wrote in the getting started, this was actually number 3 in the getting started. Number of enrolled female to number of male. We saw that ratio was 3/2. So this is the ratio we're going to use in our proportion. 3/2. This is female over male. And now we put in the information that they give us. They're saying there are 800 female students, so 800 goes up here. We're going to determine the number of male students. So I'm going to use M for male students here. And then I would solve this proportion. 3 times M is 3M. 2 times 800 is 1,600. And then I would divide both sides by 3. Oh, I'm thinking of this problem backwards, aren't I? It says determine the number of female. I got this backwards. Sorry about that. Let's fix it. See, look at that. Everyone makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Determine the number of female students. So we're trying to find female. If there are 800 male students, they tricked me. There we go. That's going to work out much better. Now we'll do cross products. So 2 times f is 2f. 3 times 800 is 2,400. Divide both sides by 2. F is going to be 1,200 female students. And we will continue this activity in another video. So I hope this helps using proportions to answer the questions on page 9 of your book. Have a great day, everyone.